folks, it's time for another demo featuring another GameSpot staffer. This one with more hair, Maxwell McGee.
Whoa!
That's
How's
right.
it going, everybody? How's it going, Chris?
I can answer for myself.
Yeah?
It's going well.
All right.
I hope
Are you ready to see some orcs get worked?
Okay. Yeah.
Because we're checking out Orcs Must Die.
100% ready. Orcs Must Die. That's
Here
the
we
name
go.
of this game.
I've got it loaded up, ready to roll here.
All right.
So,
we're playing, yeah.
This game, sort of like Trenched in concept. It's a we won't call it tower defense. I guess we could call it trap defense because you go around setting up traps and not towers.
Okay.
But as you can see here, you have an avatar that you control in the game world.
Yes,
and
with
then,
a jaunty scarf.
Once we set up our traps and we open the doors here, we got the orcs on the other side banging on the gates. They'll come out, they'll hit the traps, they'll get murdered. We'll totally shoot them with our crossbow and other weapons, and we'll rack up kills, and it'll be good fun.
All right, let's set some traps.
So first, we gotta pick out our traps. I'm gonna grab the sword, because it's good for melee.
That doesn't sound like a trap.
I'm gonna grab the wind belt. We also have weapons. You have weapons and you have traps.
Okay, so you're giving yourself the loadout right now.
I'm also gonna get the wind belt. That's gonna let me push orcs around. That'll be a good time. Grab some spikes, grab some tar pit, and grab the barricade and the archers, which are sort of like turrets, basically. So
all right, so you have those 4 items and you can place them.
Yes.
Are these little wispy lines I'm seeing? Like
the wispy lines, these represent what paths the orcs are going to take.
Okay.
So as you can see here, they have 2 paths to get to the rift at the end. What they're trying to do is go through the rift and kill all the people on the other side. And
you gotta stop
We
them.
are pretty much the only thing standing in their way. So they have 2 paths here. This path, much shorter, much more direct route back to the rift. This one, you have to go up some stairs. It's a bit longer. So I'm gonna use these barricades that I just got.
Seal it off.
And I'm going to seal it off. Let me just get in position. There we go. 1, 2, and 3. And so far,
getting through there.
They haven't attacked the barricades yet. They just walk around them.
They're just like, fine, I'll go the other way.
Also, we got this thing here. It's a little teleporter doorway. Takes me back to the rift, so if I need to get around quickly.
If it's like, your rift is in danger.
Yep, you can totally pop on back, take care of business. So with my remaining funds, drop a couple of spikes here, and
just right in the way.
We should be good to go.
All right, dude.
Unleash the horde. Use my buttons here to get my weapons. I can click down on the stick to zoom in.
They busted through.
Here come the orcs.
And so, okay, those spikes are gonna like Prince of Persia them.
Yep, totally gonna impale them. They take about a second or 2 to like set back up again, so they don't just rapid fire all the time.
So those spikes killed a few dudes, but like you're doing the bulk of the work here.
You pretty much have to. So push these orcs back.
Oh,
back
wind belt.
So yeah, the wind belt lets you push orcs back. I've been using that pretty much the entire time we're playing this game. Very useful item. Good crowd control.
Nice.
The bow and arrow, you see I've got my primary fire here. I can also alt fire, which uses up that blue meter up in the top corner of the screen.
I see it.
It'll stun enemies for a time. Oh, I'll get to the sword in just a second. But first, I'm gonna lay down some tar around these spikes. In case they try to walk around them, they're gonna hit the tar.
I appreciate your sense of symmetry when
Oh,
putting down
here come the
traps.
kobolds. I'm gonna use the sword to cut them down quickly. Kobolds, they don't have a lot of health, as you can see. They're fast.
Speedy.
And they'll just make a beeline for your rift. Chop them up, chop them up. The alternate fire on the sword, sort of like the wind belt, but with less range. It'll knock enemies back, buy you a little time to get set up. All right, next wave.
Kobolds defeated. So the next wave is coming really quick. This is a pretty fast-paced game.
It is pretty fast-paced. After like 5 waves or so, there's like a break where it's usually after a real big wave, so you have you're flush with cash. It gives you a bit of a longer break to set up some more traps. If you have any archers that got killed in the line of duty, it'll respawn your archers for you, which is nice, and then you can get going again.
I getcha.
So we're fighting orcs. So far, I've encountered orcs. I've encountered the kobolds, which you saw earlier. Yep. Here in a little while, we're gonna see some orc archers, which are especially nasty. The orcs don't pose too much of a threat to you, actually, but the archers will get all in your business.
Oh, the kobolds got through.
I hate the kobolds.
Speedy little buggers. So it looks like you could use a hand here. Is there a way to get like some local multiplayer going or anything for this?
Unfortunately, this is single player only.
This question brought to you courtesy of Le Chat Room.
It is single player only. Some local co-op would have been nice, but there's leaderboard support, so you can go for the high score.
Oh man, there's your rift. It's right around the corner.
I know, it's right around the corner.
Sorry,
but I think these are the last enemies. There we go. So here we go. We got a break. Your score basically is calculated on time. So how quickly you down the enemy waves and complete the mission determines what score
I think you should, yeah. I think you should bring those spikes out to the side a little bit.
I think
Or
I
wait,
do,
let's
I do
see some
need-
archers. Why don't you bring some archers in?
Yeah,
here?
let me drop a couple spikes. I got some money.
Okay, you got
some
some
spikes.
some
What I like
cash.
to do here is I like to get behind my barricades, drop an archer back there, and then I'm gonna save this other 300, and I'll drop another archer around this corner here when I get the chance, so he can pick up any people that sneak
Put them
by
down
me.
at the end of that corridor.
Yeah. So
All right,
I've increased my thing here. I'm gonna stay a little closer to the front, try
Your
to push
spike
some
trap is now
enemies.
poisoned? Is that a different thing?
Yes, that is a different thing. In between missions, you can go and upgrade your traps and your abilities, and I chose to upgrade my spike traps. So now, in addition to doing damage, they will also slow the enemies down. They'll snare them for a brief time.
So you were just using the wind belt to shove your enemies back onto the trap.
Yeah.
Good tactics.
Get a double tap with those spike traps.
All right, some more chat room questions. What happens if these dudes make it through to the rift?
Well, I actually have not gotten a game over yet in this game, but I do know if they make it through to the rift, they walk through it, it's not like a one-hit game over, because I have had like a couple of enemies before sneak by, make it into the rift. I think if like too many of them make it through, you'll totally lose, but I'm not sure what the exact number is on it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not one hit game over. The game is pretty forgiving, and there are varying difficulty levels. I'm playing on normal right now. There's also like a nightmare super difficulty that unlocks after you beat the game, and then a beginner difficulty, which while being easier also restricts how much currency you get after the fact. There's like a cap on how much currency you can earn for like upgrading your tools.
Okay.
Pushing these guys back.
So we've got spikes, we got tar, we got barricades,
yes.
we got archers. One
of my favorites that I'm not using here because most of the fighting takes place in this large courtyard you see is there's a trap you can put on the walls that'll fire arrows out horizontally. I'm a little hurt, so I'm gonna pop in here. But that one won't trigger unless the enemies are like pretty close to it. So when you're fighting in those large open spaces like that, usually the enemies they'll just circumvent the arrow traps completely. But they're really good for tight hallways. There's also a variant on that uses giant axes.
It throws axes out of the wall?
It doesn't throw axes out of the wall, but what it does is axes just like, they just pop out. They're just like on springs and boing, and then they totally decapitate people who walk through. But it has a much shorter range, but is a lot more powerful.
Ah, I like it. Now, you weren't doing so good there for a while. We had some folks in the chat room predicting your imminent demise.
Oh, what? No,
but
no.
you seem to have rallied. You ran back, and the rift regenerates your health? Is that how that works?
Yes, if you run over to the rift, it'll totally heal you. If you die, there's not a huge penalty. Basically, the worst part about death is it just wastes your time and lets the enemies advance further.
Your time and ours, Maxwell.
Oh my goodness.
And ours.
In America's time. All right, I think we're good. I think we're about reached the end here. Oh yeah, wave 7 out of 7. You can see underneath the mini map there, up in the corner of the screen.
Are we going to achieve glorious victory here,
Maxwell? I think so. I'm feeling good about this
good.
one. So like I said, you can zoom in here. If you're really good, you might have seen me get a couple of headshots earlier in the game.
Headshots, yeah.
Once you have a bunch of enemies on here, I like to use a tactic called spray and pray, which is what I'm doing right now. We're just gonna shoot arrows and hope everything works out super awesome. Back you fiends.
Now, that orc almost went into the portal. Folks are wondering, are you the only one who can use the portal?
From what I've seen, yes. I haven't seen any orcs make use of the portal.
Is there like an enemy type that would I think a kobold got through.
I think he did just sneak through there, but I don't want to leave my archers on their lonesome. The rift can take a couple of kobolds. I imagine there's at least I imagine there's at least like one mall cop on the other side of the rift to catch a couple of
hey, all right, kobolds, you cool it right there.
Yeah, you cool right there.
Settle down.
Move along.
All right, yeah, it looks like you took 2 hits. So your rift is now at 18.
It's all good. It's all good. So now they've made it past most of the defenses, so it's just me and all of a sudden Archer Buddy come to my defense.
Me and my mercenary archer who I summoned
there
in
we
the middle
go.
of battle.
Your guy
and
does
look
a
at
little
that.
dance. He also, we didn't get to hear it,
Hey.
but he makes dozens of snappy one-liners.
Dozens.
Dozens. And sometimes the best is when you get the same snappy one-liner back to back.
That sounds like the worst.
It's actually a little bit grating.
When you say snappy one-liners, is it like maybe
it's like
cool it on the snappiness? Snap on?
Yeah,
maybe?
he needs to back off on the snappiness just a little bit.
Okay.
He's just a little too excited about mass orc genocide.
Well,
yeah, that was
the game is titled Orcs Must Die, exclamation point.
Exclamation point means you know they're serious.
Yeah.
They're serious about
gotta
that orc
earn that
murder.
exclamation point.
But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this one. Working on the review for it as well. So
Cool.
that's going to go up early next week, probably Monday, Tuesday.
So we're seeing the review for the Xbox Live version?
Yes, for the 360 version.
It's a download.
It is. It's also out now. It came out yesterday, I believe, and the PC version comes out next week on the 12th. Although there is also a demo out for the PC as well, so if you want to get an early taste, you can do
So
that
if
too.
you want to make Orcs Die, you totally can. Maxwell, thanks a lot for showing that off, man. That was
Thank you
fun.
for having me.
You did well, too. Only 2 kobolds got through.
Only 2 those sneaky kobolds every
you know,
time.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
You didn't die once.